Hey there, guys. This is Silk. We're doing Operation 20 Core. This is sort of our little game wrap up for the game we finished here. This isn't here anymore. All sorts of stuff on my board isn't going to quite be updated right. Usually on the last turn, I was pretty sure it was going to end, so only did a partial. We can just catch up on kind of what happened. Good things, bad things, what I thought would happen, all that kind of fun stuff. First shout out is of course the Allies. I mean, they won the game there. Just real dogged determination. Tried to kind of throw them off course as best I could, and just didn't. As far as that goes. But secondly, actually, to the Axis, I had pegged the Axis as being way behind the eight ball after the German fleet got taken down, and the Italian fleet was kind of out of position, and it got taken down. Looked to me like this was just going to be kind of a runaway Allies game, and the just super props to Panzer J for what he did in Africa. This move here, I'll talk a bit more about it here. Just amazing, and was basically able to kind of nursemaid his score along for 17, 18, and 19. Which is really all you can ask for as the Axis. It's rare that the Axis are winning on turn 20. It has happened. It can happen, if you're playing really well. But most of the time, it's 17, 18, 19, and then 20 is either a tie or an Allied win. And usually a tie on turn 20 is also an Allied win. It's just an Allied win that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, like the fact that they, as Pete kind of alluded to it, 50, it's like 58.8% or something like that is the odds that a 2, 3, or 4 that one of those will get rolled in on 3d12 is basically what it, because you only need one of them to hit. So any one of them getting it, hitting gives you the win if you're in the lead anyway. So mad props to the Axis for that. They really, Panzer J for doing the Africa stuff, and Boston Bruce for just doggedly holding on to Guam there for every little bit that he could. It's just really neat to see. But here we're talking about Soviets, so we can kind of discuss what we did, why we did it, a little bit. A few things we're going to hold still. Kind of what's going on. Overall, a pretty good game with Soviets. I'm reasonably happy with what happened, even though the result would not indicate that very well. Our income dice were solid, nothing extraordinary by any stretch. They almost were really good. There was, it's the turn that Romania aligned. Was that turn 9? 8, 9, no, it's got to be 10, right? Because Paris fell on 8, and I think he aligned Romania. So I think it's turn 10. I was 13 IPP away. Romania aligns, and then Russia, of course, gets to roll. And it's 2d12, and my result was a 6. And then my result a turn later, right, on turn 11, was a 6. So, I needed 13, and I got a 2, a 4, and a 6. 12, notably. And I could have been full income on turn 10, if that 2d12 is a 13, which is an average roll. So I could have had it on 10. I didn't get it on 11. And then, of course, it's automatically you get it on 12 at that point. So that was the one disappointment. But overall, our income was just fine. 543 was our first 3d6. They've got a 10 in there somewhere, right? That spiked us up. It was okay. Income was definitely not the issue. Our tech program was fantastic from an overall just development standpoint. Easily the best tech game I've ever had in the Soviets. I often struggle to score the tech VP, even by turn 18, 19, 20, and I think I had it on 16 or 17. Pretty early for me. I think that was because of rockets, if I remember correctly, went really well. My rocket rolls were kind of ahead of schedule from normal of what they would be. Just lucky, dice or dice. kind of thing. So tech was great. We went ahead and deployed the Black Sea Fleet here, which Pete kind of talked about a little bit. And so we can discuss that to some degree of how and why you do this. So you've got two fleet choices. You can either do Baltic or Black. I would not attempt to do both. You're really just going to kind of not accomplish either objective if you try to do both. The advantage of the Baltic fleet, you're going to have a much easier time taking out Finland quickly. Like, you should be able to get Helsinki if everything kicks in right on 8, right? 7 blitz. Yeah, you can get Helsinki on 8 if you have the Baltic fleet there. Let me move the camera here. Up here, you can do a real easy way up higher. You can split your ships. You can do a real easy blockade. You just blitz down from with your 2 light armor, or 3 if you have it. And with the blockade plus your planes, you should just win that fight. Like, it's not hard. So it's kind of what that lets you do. The problem is that fleet then kind of gets stuck there, and you're inherently going to increase your tension with the Germans. The Germans don't want you to have that fleet. You don't want the German fleet to be there. And the two of you are very quickly going to end up fighting if things go that way. And kind of one of the realities of 4.2 is that if the Soviets and the Germans get into a death match, the Allies are just going to kind of stomp over everybody. It's just sort of the nature of how things are currently working. So by not deploying the Baltic fleet, kind of lets Germany, angle that fleet a little bit and move them after England, which is what you saw Panzer J do. Didn't work out very well, unfortunately, but you kind of saw the effort there. It does, however, make retaking Finland later kind of something you end up having to do. If you have the Baltic fleet, you can protect the Finnish coastline pretty well. That's sort of what it lets you do. However, it makes this lovely point much, much harder. If you want to be competitive, you've got to get Istanbul. As far as an actual winning score, I have won with the Russians without getting Istanbul because I took these 2 instead, basically because of the way if Germany goes too hard down here, you can run around them and beat them up here and take that. So that's kind of the Corp counterplay there. But under even like normal circumstances, if you try to do a slow walk army that comes across here, the Brits are going to declare war on you as soon as you step in, unless you've already lost Finland. Like, that's possible, but in most cases you haven't yet. Brits will declare war on you. They'll immediately start using this factory to play some AAA. They'll bring in a couple infantry, and suddenly you're in a really bad race. It's so hard to take a city, much less a mountain city. Your armor, if you have any, is at 4s. An artillery force that you try to bring all the way around here is going to be crazy slow. And likewise, if you try to instead, go through this way, kind of going through Romania, Germans are going to stop you. They're going to load up here with planes and mechs and infantry and everything else. And so you really, really end up trying to vastly overexpend. Try to take what's really just a 1VB territory that you just need, right at the end of the game. Sometimes I will try to take Istanbul earlier. I did have that option this game. I could have taken it on 16, maybe, if I wanted, 16 or 17, something like that. I had all the pieces I needed in play to do it. I just decided I had more important things to do, and because of the way the game was tracking, I just didn't need it. It wasn't going to make any appreciable difference. I didn't have Helsinki at the time. I knew I would, like just score-wise, if you're not forcing a tie, it doesn't matter. I didn't have to take Istanbul this turn, really. I could have waited a whole other turn if I wanted to. from a points perspective, I just at that time didn't have anything else to do with those units, so I might as well go ahead and use them activated and force the issue. Take it, make the Brits either counterplay or let me have it. They chose to counterplay, but kind of as Pete discussed, like I could take this back without much trouble. I'd kill the 2 transports that are sitting here, and it would not have been a big deal, and would have created a pressure point that I needed to create. So I'm actually pretty pleased with how this went. Well, I can appreciate that other folks make it look like it's kind of a boondoggle, and you need to, whatever Russian strategy you're developing, be comfortable with the one you're playing with, But this is pretty core to what I'm going to do most Russian games. There'll be variants of it, all based on money and board state and all of that. But this is something I'm going to do. You'll see. So let's get into the other things. So biggest mistake I made was letting Southern Iran get grabbed at the time that it was. I brought my cav up and brought him back down, and just a huge mess. Have to try hold on games where the Russia struggled. If I dominate well in the middle, I dominate else. So just one of my core lessons, and I lost it. Big mistake. Here a bit here in Iraq. I knew the Allies were going to jump points-wise. You could just kind of follow the math. They were not going to do anything against Europe. If they wanted to, they could have easily taken Madrid on 17. They just didn't set themselves up at all to do so, which tells you, they indicate where they're going. And Bruce and I both could tell it was going towards Guam, Malaya, Son of our sets, tribe of capitalism, kind of just lock down, keep everybody score low, and just get an 8-point win, which is everything that actually turned out that way. So this is me trying to kind of slow them down. Unfortunately, it just takes so darn long. I didn't calculate for the Benares fort, so I had it hitting on 21, and it really doesn't hit until 22, which is just too dang long. Having a victory window that's 22 turns out is just not a effective, let's say, choice. But it's kind of the struggles of the Soviets right now here in 4-2. They're really having problems kind of breaking through. I think I'm 0-3 now with the Soviets in 4-2. Right? I think it's 0-3. Might be 0-2. The game to play. It gets confusing sometimes. Sorry. As far as I know, nobody else has won either. I don't think there's been a single Soviet victory in 4.2 played by anybody that I know of. So it is definitely something that they're struggling with, and I'm struggling with. And this kind of gambit, I'm just trying to learn some things about how it works and what it does. And I did. I learned some things. We'll see if I ever try to do it again or not. Again, kind of board state dependent. The problem is that if I leaned really hard into Germany and pushed for Romania and Warsaw, I probably still fail. Germany had an income bigger than me. They had more troops than I did. And you saw those planes he built. Well, all those planes could have been 30 or 40 advanced max easily. Yeah, they weren't, because he didn't need them, because I didn't come after him. But if I was coming after him, they would have been. Would have been just a huge army to try to fight through. And I just didn't really have faith that I was going to be able to push through there. And at the same time, forcing Germany to spend all their money on me just means the Allies sweep up Africa even faster than they did. They sweep up into China faster. They push to, just all of their victory conditions just would have accelerated if I was leaning hard into Germany. And so that's why you saw that. And then we can talk a little bit about CCP. Very similar kind of circumstance. I didn't know what I was going to do with. Really happy with CCP start. That 4-for-4. It's the second time. I've played 13 games with CCP now. I think maybe 14. It's in that neighborhood. Great start. Just hitting one influence roll after another. As they snowballed through. Just amazing. My best so far is 5-for-5, which was its own little miracle too. So I've actually had 2 of them, these big streaks. But the Lend-Lease is hard to do to get them rolled up because obviously the Soviets have their own money crunches and you're trying to kind of build up to stave off the Germans with your fire sale. And if the Allies were fighting in Europe, I would have wanted to fight Japan with the CCP. But because the Allies are not fighting in Europe, I don't want to try to destroy Japan. At that point, all I'm doing is just accelerating all of their victory points. They just would have gotten to Guam that much faster. They would have taken Malaya that much easier. I would have been bearing the brunt of the Japanese war machine as they hold on to their lands. The KMT comes through. It might take Nanking. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But Bruce offered. Maybe he'll chime in. I think it was 13. Let me know, Bruce. I think it was around 13 that he offered to help me kill the KMT if I left Japan alone. That's a pretty good deal for me. I at least get a VP out of it, which is really all I'm here for in the East anyway. At the same time, it leaves him alone enough that he can fight the Allies because the Allies are coming to kill him. And I don't want the Allies to kill him. I want the Allies to kill Germany. So that's why you saw, all that where I kind of, I was all the way over here and I just kind of ended up just coming down and fought the KMT. Dice were a little mean to me. Life happens. Again, it is what it is. We at least got it done. We were able to finish them off. And then at that point, it kind of became well, what else are you going to do sort of thing. So we ended up coming back here and Japan got upset when I put the rail in Suion because I wanted to be able to build reinforcements there. So they took that. I would have taken it back, and we'd go back and forth. But again, way too late. When it's turned friggin' 20 and 21, way too late to be doing this kind of stuff. But I already got my point. I'd gotten my VP that I needed out of China. I had enough VPs in other places, so that was more or less a success. Pretty happy with how the CCP turned out this game. They did just fine. So that's probably it for Russia. So we can talk a little bit about just other stuff. This is the big highlight for me. This was a incredible move by Panzer J. Absolutely, potentially game-winning. All they had to do was roll the darn die, and they win the game because of this move. And to German Axis players here, really keep this in mind here. This is a lot of cases in that turn 17, 18, 19 window. 1 point is often just the difference between winning and not winning, winning in a tie. There are blowouts, they happen, but in a lot of cases, it really is just that tight of a margin. And if you can get 2 Italian strategic bombers here and protect them, you're going to take away that rail point every single turn. And there's not a lot the Allies are going to be able to do about it. It's desert, so it's hard to attack. It is worth it IPP, so you can build a colonel infantry here. Obviously, you can fly down. If you do get enough critical mass, I think Panzer J could have killed the fleets if he wanted to. I just think he just chose not to, as far as that goes. But he could have. Probably made a plan. There's more stuff in Malta than what I have here. There's 6 units there, I think. But I think he might have been able to make a long-term play on Malta if he killed the British fleet there. This is a great move. Keep this in mind. This is something to put in your tool belt. Absolutely love it. The other big one is the port that, and Pete talked about this one too. So right here, this C zone, this territory Honshu right here. You put that port right here where it's in P16 and P15, and it's an incredible versatile move. You can load more or less your entire fleet into that port. But picture 6 transports, all your heavy battleships, whatever it is that you need to, drive around. I'd still probably put my carriers. I guess depending on, because really, again, with the airbase, either way, your planes can fly out. So maybe you put them here, but you might still just even put the planes here and put the carriers in port. Either way, it's because you get to count as leaving in the C zone. So it's 1, 2, 3, you can hit Malaya, and it's leaving this C zone, 1, 2, 3, you can hit Hawaii. So you're threatening Hawaii and Caroline, Guam, Malaya, all of it, all at the same time. And allies just crazy how they maneuver, or you're just going to smack them down. Super versatile, 6 IPP, 4 if you have improved construction. Build the thing right around that turn like 11, 12 zone, and it'll be good to you. I totally promise. Just a master move by Bruce there. Totally loved it. I think that's it. I think that's about all we got. Solid win by the Allies. Great effort by the Axis there. And the Soviets, we just kind of tried to learn a few things. So that's sort of what we were doing. We were trying to kind of develop try to test out some stuff. Did not go as well as I would have liked, but this is kind of part of the crafting process when you're trying to learn how to win with nations. So that's kind of what I have to kind of write this game off as. So that's it. Leave any comments if you need to. I'll try to answer questions and stuff. That's all we got. So I'll take care, guys. Enjoy the holidays, and I'll see y'all a bit later.